everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimaloye here in Abuja. Tonight, our attention is perhaps a history that's been made. Since 1960, when Senegal became independent from their colonial masters, they've now had 5 presidents elected into office in the past few years. And Macky Sall stepped down now as transited power to new President Faye. And in that sense, it means one thing. Faye is perhaps the first young person of that age to become the leader of that country. But what lessons does this portend for Nigeria? That is the perspective tonight. If a 44-year-old becomes a president of a West African nation and he's made some audacious policy statements, how will these go? Don't forget, this is a man that got out of prison 10 days before the ballot. We'll be speaking with one of the presidential candidates in the 2023 presidential election. And afterwards, we'll be talking about security in Nigeria. It was not only the Nigerian military men that were killed in Delta State. In fact, we had police officers killed in Delta State, killed in Rivers State. And the police authorities say they are not going to let these go without them hunting down those who perpetrated this evil, alongside working to ensure the security of Nigeria. Tonight, we'll be hearing from the Nigerian police force on what this means. So, before we get started with my first guest on the program, let's check out some of your political roundup stories.
The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, is asking Nigerians to unite in the spirit of the Ramadan season in order to overcome the challenges bedeviling the nation. While breaking fast with Muslim faithful in Abuja, Senator Godswill Akpabio says collaboration between Nigerians, irrespective of religious affiliation, will ensure the prosperity and security of Nigeria as a nation.
No matter the political disagreements, in some instances, even families do disagree, but we must bear one thing in mind, that we are serving humanity, and we are serving humanity through Almighty God.
The TIV Traditional Council, led by the Tor TIV, Professor James Ayate, has brokered peace between the Benue State Governor, Hyacinth Elea, and the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume. After the closed-door discussion, the political figures who have been enmeshed in a cold war over the political leadership of the state embraced themselves to the cheers of their supporters. The conflict between the two leaders reached its peak with the recent inauguration of a factional All Progressives Congress State Executive Council by Governor Alea. The TIV paramount ruler and his council are worried by the worsening crisis and decided to invite the governor and the SGF to thrash out their differences.
They have told us, discussed the issues with us, and we have all discussed and agreed together. They agreed to bury their differences and work together as a team.
The FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, says he is happy with the presidential assent to the Federal Capital Territory's over 1.1 trillion naira statutory budget for the 2024 fiscal year, the highest in the history of the FCT. He made the disclosure during a media chat at his office in Abuja, where he explains that the budget will impact on infrastructural development, improve healthcare facilities, as well as rehabilitation of schools and the FCT, amongst others. Mr. Wike equally reacted to the call by some senior members of the People's Democratic Party in Rivers State, calling on President Bola Tinubu to caution him on his involvement in political activities in the state.
Frankly speaking, it is going to revolutionize infrastructure as far as the FCT is concerned. Not only road networks, also in health, in education. It's very key.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us on the program. So Senegal, a West African French-speaking country, has now had a new president, and the youngest since 1960, since it got its independence. Bassirou Diomaye Faye a left-wing pan-Africanist, was sworn in today in an event attended by some African leaders, including our president, Bola Tinubu. He's Senegal's youngest president after sweeping to a first-round victory on the pledge of radical reforms 10 days after he was released from prison. The 44-year-old has never before held any political or elected office, for several African leaders attended the ceremony in the new town of the Aniado. But what lesson does this have on African politics and leadership? Let's get some perspectives on the lessons for Nigeria's politics, political participation, especially for young persons. So it doesn't mean that Mr. Faye just started yesterday. He must have been thinking about having a vision and a dream of wanting to become the leader of that country. Now, he has it on his hands now. Let's speak to a former presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Mr. Omoyele Sowore, who joins us live from New Jersey in the United States. Thank you so much, Sowore, for joining us tonight on the program.
Thank you for bringing me.
And I guess you are really acclimatizing and getting to be with your family properly. You've been away from them for quite a while, isn't it?
Yes, it's been 5 years I've been away from my wife and kids. So yes, acclimatizing, yes, but getting used to cold, a challenge.
You can't eat your cake and have it. You said you'll be coming back to Nigeria, that the struggle continues in some of the video that I saw that surfaced online. So you enjoy the good temperature here, or you keep up with the cold there in New Jersey. You pick one. But thank you so much, Sowore, for joining us today. Let's talk about Mr. Faye, who has now become Senegal's new president. What is your view, first and foremost, about this transition in Senegal?
Well, it's important to mention that when Africans were yearning for independence, they actually went for very young, vibrant people. And the question we keep asking ourselves is, at what point did we lose that ability to have young people, vibrant, intelligent young people, lead the African continent? And you would notice that this happened as a result of colonialism. The colonial masters weren't too comfortable with young, vibrant, radical African leaders. And that was what led to the death of Lumumba and a bunch of presidents that were kicked out of office by the collusion of local African, betrayers and these political colonial leaders all over Africa. So this is not the first time. Even in Nigeria, the first crop of leaders that came up after independence were in their 20s. The man who first moved the motion for Nigeria's independence, that's late Chief Tony Enahoro, was his 20s. The Zigs of this world, Bafemi Awolowo, they weren't old people, but again, over time, we lost that opportunity to have vibrancy, and that's why you see Africa the way it is today. But it's interesting that majority of the people I've seen there, this swearing in, are the same old African leaders who would not allow the youth to have a chance. But there's a lesson to be learned from Senegal, that this presidential change of baton did not happen by accident. It was through serious revolutionary struggle. You can imagine someone who came from prison 10 days before and became president of Senegal, when, as a matter of fact, the man who was there didn't want to leave, and he had postponed the election very recently to an unknown date, but he was heavily resisted, and that's how Senegal came about this. So everybody who is celebrating this must also understand that freedom comes out of struggle.
So, I'm more concerned about two things. I'm talking about the politics of Senegal tonight, but not dwelling on those events. We're trying to draw lessons and inspiration from what happened and perhaps what we can glean and learn from it as a people. Political participation first and foremost. For a 44-year-old to become a president, the man has never been into any elected office before now. That is audacious. That is a lot of vision, isn't it?
It is, and this was where we were coming from. When we started our political movement in 2018, and people were saying, well, you need experience. And we kept telling them, experience is not going to take you anywhere because it's experienced politicians that put Nigeria in the condition that it is today. Experienced thieves, experienced murderers, killers, corrupt people. And now you've seen it in Senegal, that you don't actually need experience. You need leaders that have vision, people who are motivated to lead their people. I must make a caveat here that until we see the performance of these particular persons who have taken over power in Senegal, we should not celebrate too quickly because we've had young people in Nigeria lead. The guy that just left Kogi is very young, and look at the way he left the state. And this is what I've always said, that my problem is not with old age. My problem is with old ideas of African leaders. They have no new ideas. And you can have some young people who live through very difficult old ideas, like the likes that we've had in Kogi, not just one, the senator from there, the governor there, and several other persons who are young people who are disgracing their youthfulness.
You're not yourself a young person any longer. You've crossed the 50-year mark. So you are joining the folk that will say older folks. You look at it, what is youthfulness? What is young age? What does it have to do with active leadership? Like you mentioned, we've seen young people that have failed in leadership. And being young doesn't mean an automatic good leadership. And I'll go to some of the things that Mr. Faye has said, even before being sworn in. He had said that he's going to move past what the colonial masters' legacies are. And he said it's made some very radical and dramatic policy decisions, which in the coming days, one will see how that will affect or impact on the economy or the welfare of the people of Senegal. But then let's put some attention on young people in Nigeria. How are they able to organize, to mobilize? That is important. If young people are not able to organize and mobilize, if they spend most of their lives working in private sector, doing stuff for themselves and never thought about leadership, how then can this kind of vision come to pass, Showore?
Well, there's a very important question, and this is a question I've addressed. So you must understand that Mr. Faye and his colleague set up a political party in 2014. And when he ran for election, they were thoroughly beaten. They only had one position in a local government or so in 2014. And then they kept going and came back in and then a few years later and fought, but they came third. And eventually now they've won power. So political participation is necessary. Creating political parties that are not tainted by the old is also very important. But I must insist, and I agree with you here, that just being young in numbers is not enough. You must be persons of character, you must have mission, you must have vision, and you must have will to work for the people of your country. So, and the part about experience is also very important because you hear that from Nigerians. I know they do that for different purposes. Oh, you need experience. This guy was a tax collector. That's the best he has ever done. He's not even known to have been an activist before now. It was him and his friends in the tax sector that formed the political party. Came together and defeated the old guards. But this is not the first time in Senegal that the old guards seems to have been defeated. That's why I said earlier that we should be careful because even the guy who was defeated, whose candidate was defeated, that's Macky Sall, was also seen as a reformer when he first came years ago. In fact, he was saying that he didn't want to spend more than 4 years in power. And then he came to power, he got used to it, and he became a terrible dictator himself. So it's very important. But when you question our young people, the question is, what are young people doing? That's the question. And young people who are doing what I call tag along, they are more interested in becoming, senior special assistants to governors or senators. I have not seen that clear aspiration on the part of our young people to go and become the leaders of their country. And most of the time, it's these young people that are pulling down the few young people who are courageous enough to say it is time to turn the corner. I don't see myself as a youth anymore, but I look youthful, and and I can always defend my youthfulness. But that's not the reason why I want to be president of Nigeria. It has never been the reason. It has always been that I have such a background in making sure that we fix our country, and that's what drove me into running for office first in 2018 and 2023. So this is a lesson, because our young people also have a tendency to praise other young people who are making this kind of difference in other places. But when it comes to them, there's some kind of a self-sabotage. You remember in 2018, there was this law of not too young to run. And I challenged it at that time. Why would you need a law for young people to run? You take power. Nobody will give power to you, via any constitutional amendments or laws. You take power. And now, so 4 years later, how many young people has that produced in the most important sector of the country, which is the presidency? You cannot be young, mission-driven, be visionary, and go and hide your bushel under some of these old people who have no idea how to even operate a phone. So, but youthfulness is also important in the sense that, you need leaders that are alert, who are capable, who are able to be responsive, who don't have to spend half of the time in the hospital. I'm not saying young people don't fall sick, but especially the ones that we know who are falling apart. They are doing us no good in our country. And we saw that with Buhari and subsequently the man there now.
I do know that old age is not a disease. Also, one thing that is important is that experience also brings a lot of benefit and profit. Tonight, we are drawing lessons from the experience of Senegal and now become the leader of that country. Let's take a quick look at some of the things, although Shore has mentioned them, but let's take a look at some of those things that are important in the lives and the profile of Mr. Faye, the president of Senegal. Yeah, he's 44 years. Yeah. Perhaps was one among a group of political opponents freed from prison 10 days before the 24th March presidential election in that country. He's never held any elected office before. He defeated Macky Sall in that election. He was almost not going to participate in election because that election was not going to happen at some point, but eventually it happened. He's a former tax inspector, which is what he's known for, that he's done for himself, apart from the fact that he joined forces with his former boss or his former political mentor, who was unable to run eventually. He's the 5th president since independence from France in 1960. He's the very first president of that country to openly admit to a polygamous marriage. He has vowed to restore national sovereignty over key assets such as the oil, gas, and fishing sectors. He is also saying that he wants to leave the regional CFA, the currency of the country, and he wants to invest more in agriculture with the aim of reaching food self-sufficiency. These are very ambitious policy decisions from Mr. Faye. And if you look at it, this look like some situation or scenario that you can almost liken to what we experienced in Nigeria. What are your thoughts, Shore?
When I ran in 2018, I had what I call Spicer hits. They're bigger than this, big ambition to take charge of national assets, employ Nigerians, turn Nigeria to a construction site, and ensure that we pay wages that are living wages. And I wanted to restore security, engage in fantastic infrastructural development, invest in education such that education will be free up to university level, and even give study grants to students. But when we came out with all these things, people started saying, no, there's no money to do it, until it's now proven to them that there's more than enough money to do whatever we want to do if we decide to do it. But you have to elect to power or office the person who can make these things happen. And that is why the difference you saw between us and what we are celebrating today in Senegal. It's not enough to celebrate it. It's for us to embrace it locally too. It's for us to say to ourselves, We have had enough of all these ODs in our system, and they have not done experience. This is the Nigeria of experienced people. Maybe it's time to try the unexperienced, but I would never describe myself as an inexperienced person, because I've always been in leadership where it is most difficult. It's not just leadership of, there's appointments. I've never taken an appointment before, and it was deliberate. And leadership that's helped the country to transition from one difficulty to the other, both political and in some cases economic, when we did fight the World Bank policies when we first arrived at the university in our days. So now you've seen it, and it's been shown to Nigerians that the possibilities are there for you to elect very vibrant leaders in your own country, so that the next time we have young leaders, it will be in Nigeria, and it will not be Nigerians trending a young leader elected somewhere with 2 wives. And I have nothing against him having 2 wives, I'm just saying.
Well, do you see a 40-something-year-old becoming a president of Nigeria in the nearest future?
I would love to say it, but you have to ensure that 75% of our people, young people who are below 40, are not working against that dream. It's not just about the 45-year-old person. I want to see a great Nigerian become the leader of this country in my lifetime. That's one of my goals, and it can be a male or female. So,
but Oshore, I mean, from your experience, even some of you who were younger or new entrants into the race in 2019, you were so chaotic to the point that you couldn't even organize yourself in the little groups that you belong to as a presidential candidate. And so there is a fear how bad young persons find it difficult to organize. How well can young people organize to have a vision of young and energetic people going into the fray?
That's why you need radical young people. You see, in 2018 and 2019, when we were having our whole young presidential candidate meetings, which I was never part of beyond just one meeting, to be clear, I told everybody who was listening at that time that these young people, the people who claim to be young presidential candidates, were working for the old system. And that's what has happened now. Ask yourself, where are all those young presidential candidates of 2019? They're all working as special assistants, deputy to somebody, or they were all set up by the system. And that was why the gang up was largely against me, because I stood out different from the rest of them. The only person that was around at that time, who you cannot even call young, was Kingsley Moghalu, who is still around today. Ask yourself, do you still remember their names and where they are today? I'm the only person who survived that period. I'm the only person who, after that period, went to jail. I'm the only person who was able to sustain a political party and ran in 2023, even though I had maybe 1 day to contest, and I was going to court and I was restricted to Abuja. So that's what lesson should have been learned in 2019. It's not just enough to say some people are young and running for office. Look for the best amongst them. Look for the most resilient. Look for the one that has vision, the one that is not a coward, and the one that is not playing games. If we did that in 2019, we would have been ahead of Senegal today, because I'll be doing my second term in office, and Nigeria would be such a great place today. And I mean it. If I was president in 2019, you won't have the situation that you have in your hands today. I can tell you that for free.
As a way of rounding up, there is a lot of fear about whether or not a young person will join political parties, because what is evident, in fact, in the electoral numbers, there are more than 60% of young people who make up the electoral numbers in Nigeria. And if you go into the larger population, there are more young people between the age of 18 and 35 who make up the larger population of Nigeria of over 200 million. So it means one thing, that the young people are of advantage. But when it comes to voting and using that advantage, they are never nowhere to be found. So that's a big question, isn't it? An election is over. Going into the next election, how do you think, for many young people who are watching tonight, How do you think that mobilization, that orientation, and that intentional calculation of participation can happen?
Well, it is clear now that it is very easy to accomplish that. I am a youthful person. I won't call myself a youth, but I'm young compared to the dinosaurs who are now in politics in Nigeria. But what I'm saying is that we have a political party. We have the African Action Congress. By the way, you should change the name on your ticker. It's AAC. And that's what it did in Senegal. And what it did in Senegal didn't happen overnight. There was a protest in Senegal that was similar to NSAS. And all the young people decided to join a political party. And some of them didn't join. Some of them left even after the protest. It is that political party that matured over time. And you cannot say that you want to take power and not join political power that are revolutionary, especially when you want revolutionary power. And you cannot go and join a party that is not ready for a revolution or that's not interested. Our party, for instance, the AAC, doesn't have a youth leader because every person in the AAC is young. So the opportunities are there. But I tell you one thing, and we must be very clear about this. Now that they've seen what is going in Senegal, they will bring in more young people to create division and confusion again so that we won't be able to accomplish this. But young people must also promise, the youth, radical young people in Nigeria must come together, join one political party. If we have the numbers, we will defeat these guys even before 2027. And don't ask me how. But I will explain that because you're running out of time, I'm sure.
Yeah. Omoyele Sowore, 53-year-old Omoyele Sowore, no longer a youth. A few years ago, we were saying a young candidate. But you cannot even beat it. But you're not in the league of Joe Biden, who is 81 years old, or Donald Trump, who is 77 years old.
And Atiku and Peter Obi, so we are far apart. I'm 10 years younger than all the major candidates. Only myself and I think Adebayo, who is younger than myself, were in our 50s in the last elections, prominent ones. But there was also a guy who was even younger than all of us. I think he was in his 30s in the last election. But
Professor Molayin. Yeah.
So the opportunities are there. Vibrant young people, You said it earlier, and I want to close here, that, maybe, being old is not a disease. It's not, but it's a barrier. That's why people retire after the age of 60 and 65.
All right. Thank you so much. Omoyele Sowore was a presidential candidate of the AAC in the 2023 presidential election. Thank you so much for your thought tonight. And whatever good happened to Senegal, may it also happen to our country. Maybe this is in favor of the young people. But if you're a young person and you're watching, and this is in your favor, say yay. If you're a young person, and if you don't want it, say nay. Well, as the Speaker of the House at the moment, the years have it. Thank you so much, Omoyele, for joining us tonight. We'll take a break, everyone. And when we come back, our attention will be on security. The Nigerian police authorities are talking tough about those who were killed and how they were killed. We'll be hearing details of that after this break as well. Thanks so much, everyone, for staying with us. The police first has come out to say the identities of some of the 12 persons, 6 of whom were killed gruesomely, and 6 others are still missing during a rescue operation in Delta State, where you heard it. That is where some military officers in that same state were killed. They also confirmed the arrest of 5 suspects, the slain officers, according to a statement by the force public relations officer Olumiwa Adejobi. Says that the policemen fell victim to an ambush by armed assailants while undertaking a mission to investigate the disappearance and rescue of 3 of their colleagues in Horo Forest in Delta State. Well, in Rivers State, there's another killing of another police officer. The police command there announced that a notorious cult leader, Gift Okpara, also known as Tubaba, who is the prime suspect in the murder of a former divisional police officer of Awada Division, Baku Angbashim, in September last year. Angbashim was ambushed and captured in the Odemudie community in Awada East local government area of River State by the court gang. It was dismembered, and they filmed his gruesome killing. Let's speak with the first public relations officer of the Nigerian Police Force, Mr. Muyiwa Adejobi, joins us live on the program. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
How are you?
This was such a sad one, and it wasn't only the men in military uniform that were killed in Delta State. It affected men of the police force. How is the police receiving this?
Option is quite unfortunate. We are pained to have lost our men. They are heroes. Those we continue to celebrate. The men were special operation. You'll recall that around January 2024, 3 of our men got missing. They were ambushed at a point. Somebody lured them to that ambush. One person came to the point where they're having their stop and search, told them that somebody stole, some people stole his phone. In the process, they wanted to go and assist. They couldn't see them. So that led to another operation on the February where we lost 6 and they were ambushed. And this is not the first time our men we've been embarking on such rescue operation. This particular theme that was attacked, 6 of them lost. We have been doing rescue operations. That was not the first time, but unfortunately we lost 6 of them, and 3 got missing again. We were actually trying to search for the corpses. You know, in law, you don't declare somebody as missing dead until after 7 years. You don't see him with that disappearance. So we were actually trying to look for the corpses until we got the corpses and were able to arrest some of them. We have been able to arrest 9 of them so far.
In the Delta incident?
In the Horo forest attack. It's the same area. We have been able to arrest 9 of them. First arrest 5 of them. Last week I made additional arrests of 3. And I think on Sunday we arrested another 1. And these are suspects that are directly involved in the killing, not passers-by that we felt we should just pick Tom, Dick, and Harry to be in our cell. No. The IGP deployed the team comprising PMF men from 51, IRT men, and some of our tactical detectives.
To hunt these
to even go after even the killing the team that was attacked, comprising PMF, IRT, that intelligence response team close to your office here in Guzapiri. They all went on IG's instruction to go and search for the missing 3. That's why they were ambushed again. The same forest. So we were able to go after them. We embarked on our normal forensic analysis of certain things, and were able to pick them. We are still picking them. We continue to pick them. We didn't come out to say it on time because we actually we were waiting to get the corpses recovered. When we recovered the corpses, we were able to recover 6 corpses and 3 missing. So that's why we have 6 dead. 3 missing in action. Well, up to now, according to the provisions of the law, we are still searching for the missing 6, and nobody can declare them dead. But we continue. We are hopefully we're going to get them.
Yeah. We wish and we hope that they are alive, so that they can tell their stories. And this sad scenario, there's another one which happened. Of course, I'm going to come back to the Delta situation. There's another one which happened. The DPO that was killed in Awada, which we understand that the prime suspect has been gotten. But there was a tape where the IG was speaking about. Let me allow our viewers to listen to what the IG said about that Rivers, the DPO in Rivers that was gruesomely murdered.
The tragic killing of the divisional police officer, SP Pago Angbashi, in Rivers State, is another event which serves as a stark reminder of the multi-dimensional challenges we face in maintaining security and order across our nation. The perpetrators of this heinous crime have murdered sleep, and they shall sleep no more.
That was what the IG said when that happened. And give us an update on that.
We matched that with the word of the IGP. You know, Tubaba has been neutralized because we engaged. There was a first gun battle between the police and his team. Incidentally, he was hit by the bullet, and we didn't know on time. But his gang, they already took him away and buried the corpse. Later, we discovered the corpse, the decomposing corpse of two Baba. Another one too has been arrested. There's no how you want to kill any of our men and you go scot-free. It's not possible. Like what the IGP said, their mothers sleep and they will not sleep. If mother peace, they will not have peace. It's apart from being a criminal offense, apart from being a sin, forbidden by all religions to kill a fellow human being, apart from being an abnormality according to psychologists, is a disservice to our nation to have our security operatives, the police, soldiers, or any security agents whatsoever carrying out official operation to be murdered in that manner. Not only murdered, the corpses mutilated, pieces. It's just quite unfortunate.
And the sad scenario they dismember the bodies, they kill them, they
will see video and they will take picture, they will do the video, that will circulate the video. It's quite unfortunate. But it's that time we started taking certain decisions that enough is enough. Like the IGP said, it's not going to work again. We have been able to pick them. Those who are in our cells, they are helping us now. They are helping us. We pick them from various locations. And they are in a place now, we are still working on them. You know, we need to, right now we are still asking them where are the 6 missing in action officers. You know, we don't torture again in the police. That era is gone. That era is gone. We are actually carrying out what we call interview and interrogation in a professional way to get them. We are conscious of the provisions of Anti-Torture Act of 2017. You don't need to torture anybody. It may take us time to get information from them. But we surely get information from them. We still get as many as possible that's still a way that's at large. And we'll definitely look for men and we'll get them. Whatever it is, we're going to get them.
Meanwhile, why has the Niger Delta region become such a dreadful place for security agents? Because this Rivers, the Awada one in Rivers State, the Delta one to the military in Niger Delta, the one against the police in the Niger.
I think there are many multidimensional perspectives in that regard. The population, the green economy of that place, the whole business they have in that place, and so many other things. But I think we, from the security circle in Nigeria, we have been carrying out certain analysis. As I speak with you, a meeting is going on with senior officers, service commanders, even with the NSA to address some of these issues. Not only in Niger Delta area, we've been having pockets of incidences in all the geopolitical zones across the country. And it's our responsibility to actually tackle these challenges for us to have a peaceful society in Nigeria. It's not only in the southern part of Nigeria, but this particular delta, you can see that we have recorded almost two or three or four incidences in delta states in particular. But I think everybody is bothered. Even the governor of delta states is worried. The traditional rulers are worried. Indigenes of delta states are worried about this too. And many of them, I want to commend them. They have been trying to work with us hand in hand to see how we can actually get some of these harmed assailants that are causing problems in this place. But I want to assure you that if as I speak with you, I don't think they are still hibernating in any corner of Delta State. They must have fled because it has not been so easy for them. We have taken the battle to their areas and we'll pick all of them one after the other without picking innocent people. That era has gone that we just go in the street and be picking those you suspect or those you think must have been involved in the killing of our men. No, we have our direct targets and we are going for our targets.
Are there interconnection, are there relationship between the killings of the police officers and that of the soldiers?
Well, I wouldn't say. Don't let us preempt what investigations will reveal to us. From the defense headquarters, an investigation has been instituted concerning the killing of the soldiers. From our own side, we are still investigating. And that doesn't mean that if we come across any tangible information, we're not going to share our intelligence with defense. We are working together. Like I told you, there's a meeting going on involving all of them. If you come across anybody who must have been involved in the killing of the soldiers, we'll surely involve them. And I'm sure at the end of the day, all of us will meet at the point to see how we can have due prosecution of some of these suspects we have with us. We are still going to get more, even involving the killings of the soldiers. The police will still do the needful. The honors is on us to make sure we pick all of them. That's why the police is in charge of investigation, prosecution, and all these things. So we are working together and we'll get all of them. We are going to get all of them. We are working seriously. Our men are still on the field. We will not be deterred because it's one of those things we need to experience. We have signed for it to our mandate is to protect Nigerians. And while protecting Nigerians, we come across issues like this, challenges like this, our men will not be deterred in any way. And that's why you see that the IGP has encouraged them. Even those, the family of the 6, we have contacted them. The IGP has decided to give them posthumous award. You are aware that our awards and commendation event will be coming up on the 15th of
I was going to wonder why. Is that the first time that's happening?
It's the first time. We've been having, will I say, quote and unquote, localized ceremonies like that the commissioner will give certificate, but this will be the first time the IGP will convince all your thing, and officers across board will be honored. We have various categories, almost 15 or 17 categories that will be honored. We're having 3 nominees per category. The most outstanding one will be the winner, while the remaining 2 will still have something to go on with. IG is going to commend everybody, either commendation for merit or courage. You're going to have something. Our team, the faculty, has been working on that to select those who are competent, those who are capable, who have done good in all areas to win this award. And this, our fallen heroes, will also be honored. We cannot leave them. IG is going to get across. We are going to move with their family shoulder to shoulder to navigate this difficult moment, and they would never be left alone. So we have this award coming to honor them, and of course, the ones that are serving. And those individuals have done well for us, groups, experts that have been assisting the police.
But what about, Mr. Adijabi, what about the welfare of the officers? I mean, talking about
the slain ones.
No. I mean, we understand that the IG has also ordered.
No, they are going to pay their entitlements. For the first time, the entitlement, if they have not paid, I'm sure they must have made necessary arrangement to pay all of them by now, as I speak with you. But if I'm sure the IGP has directed the OC Insurance to do that immediately. I'm talking of the slain officers, and they must have contacted their families. We are going to honor them. They are part of us. Whether their husbands or their breadwinners have gone or not, police would never leave them.
But what about the welfare, general welfare of 7 police officers?
So that is broad. When you talk of welfare, it's broad. Whether you're talking of salary, emolument, or allowances, and what have you. But let me say, without missing words, that the present leadership, under the amiable leadership of IGP Kayode Adeolu has been working assiduously to mend so many things. Talking on salaries, working on something. I don't want to discuss that.
So something is in the offing.
As per the pension, is working seriously too. Very, very soon, the IGP is going to address police family, both serving and retires, and everybody will smile. And let me say again that the major problem is housing problem, barracks, accommodation, because of our number. So for the first time, the IGP is trying to convene Nigerian Police Housing Summit. We have experts who are working with us. We actually want to tap into resources we have in Nigeria. We will likely get out to people to help us to get some funds to do that. And of course, we want to go into PPP so that we have some portions of land we want to use. Some governors have given us some pieces of land we need to use. But we want our men to just have somewhere to raise their heads, to put their heads.
And some of your barracks are being in terrible shape. You drive around some parts of the country and you see police barracks.
There are many that are not bad, but we've been trying to work to fix some of them. But we have a very large number of barracks and accommodation facilities across the country. But IGP, as I speak with the IGP, still has formed a team that's working on that, how to see how we can go about it. And I'm sure the president, the government of Nigeria, will be looking into that direction too. The President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is not going to leave Nigerian police force alone. Everything will work well for us, and we're optimistic we're going to get it better. Quick one,
I have a few minutes to the end of the interview. The tactical force that was inaugurated by the IG, some of them, we understand that the training were in batches. Has the last set been trained?
You mean SIS?
Yes.
Special Intervention Squad.
Yeah.
Yes, the trainings are on. It's batch by batch.
So what happens with these SIS is that if there is any crime or incident, they are able to move. They are equipped aerially. and they are equipped on the ground too. Is that
yes,
how they operate?
Exactly, that's how we have it. And we still have the intention of establishing SIS in all the states of the Federation. We have done almost 3 now. We are going one by one. You know, to have them is always very capital intensive, and of course, you have to give them armor personnel, give them at least a chopper to give them area support, give them hands and ammunition. But the IGP has been working assiduously to make sure this team is well funded. SIS, we're going to have them. And we have support from some of our governors so far. And some governors too have indicated interest in supporting the IGP to have SIS in their various states.
We understand that there is some deployment of technology also because of some of the rescue operation of kidnapped persons. But I know that if I ask you to go into those technology, you will tell me that they are not.
We are getting it better. We are more scientific. We are more ICT oriented in Nigerian police force. I don't want to say so many things on here, but very, very, very soon you're going to feel the impact of technology in our policing. You're going to feel the impact of science in our policing in this country. Don't forget that my IGP is a mathematician. He talks to some of these experts. He can't just leave it. He cannot be lagging behind because he knows what you are saying. He has his masters in engineering analysis. So when an engineer is talking, the IG will ask you a question, you know he has his onions, and he knows what he's saying.
Right.
So with what we have on ground, we're optimistic Nigerian police force is going to...
Quick one, Muyiwa. There are a few public interest stories, which of course, you know, I see how you respond to people when they tweet at you and they send you social media messages. Fisayo Soyombo, was it declared wanted by the police?
No, I don't think so. We have not declared Soyombo wanted, but I think there are some petitions against him. And I think the National Cybercrime Center in the case, we know a modern way, professional way of getting across to him. You can't just declare him wanted. If he's around, they must have sent an invitation letter to him. He will honor it. I know him. He will honor him. But if he's not around, he will tell him, I'm not around, I will come across to you. There's no need for us to be declaring him wanted. I'm sure they are communicating with him.
So he's not handled by the police force, he's handled by another agency?
No, National Cybercrime Center is
under the
police property. Yeah. Headed by the Commissioner of Police, Henry Mfayi Uche.
In Abuja?
In Abuja, yeah. Close, that's a diplomatic way there.
So if he's going to be invited, he's going to be invited here in Abuja?
He's going to be in Abuja. The center is handling the matter. And if they want to invite him, they invite him. It has not gone to that level of declaring wanted.
So there are petitions against him?
I know. I'm sure there were 2 or 3 petitions against him. And because the CP briefed me this morning when I asked him certain questions, because I read it too online that he has been declared wanted. Some people said he's going to turn in today. Some people said he has been arrested, his detention. So when I saw clarification from the CP, he told me no, that they have not even written to him. But I definitely are going to invite him because the way the allegations concerning certain publications is a platform did. And of course, invitation to the police now at this level is just to come and discuss and clarify certain things. Nothing more.
Very dark black man. That boy, he was released on Sunday. What about his case?
Well, I know he was arrested too, and you know they have been having issues, petitions and counter petitions. But one thing I want Nigerians to know is that many of us are not aware that we have a law concerning cybercrime-related issues and cyber stalking, cyberbullying, and the likes. I always say it, and Nigerians should know this night, that Cybercrime Prohibition Act of 2015 is potent. It's not impotent. It's active, and we are going to enforce the law. If anybody does anything, you tweet, you post, or you publicize anything against me, and I think I'm not so okay, I will take it up against you.
Was it because that the petition against him, were there petitions against...
I know.
Were they coming from police officers?
No.
He was said to have made statement against IG and DIG.
No. He didn't say anything against the IG.
The DIG?
He said some things against the DIGs, and it's a personal thing now, not even an official thing. If he knows any DIG that is doing that, I think he knows who alleges must prove in law.
Why did it take long before he was released?
I'm sure we don't see this time around. We don't detain people unreasonably. Any action we take in the police is legalized. So if he has been detained, he must have been on court order. It's not that we detain somebody for more than 24 hours, 48 hours, and we don't have the legal backing. I was told there was a court order to detain him because they're actually trying to touchlight certain things and of course, and to do proper investigation so far. He's on bail. The case is not over. It's on bail, the case is not over. I think to release somebody on bail doesn't mean the end of the case. To have your liberty to move around.
So you still have his day in court.
The case is still on. The case is still on. But we can actually educate some people on this, that 2025 Cybercrime Prevention Act is 2015, sorry, is very, very active. And we need to be mindful of what we do. You have the liberty to write whatever you want to write. You have liberty to publish as a journalist, whatever you want to, but have facts.
All right. I have 30 seconds to go. And it's about, this question is about some of your friends who are cross-dressers. And I say your friends because people, I see how people ask you questions about cross-dressing and these moral issues that are becoming a major problem in Nigeria. How is the police reacting to those kind of situations?
Well, Sheon, there are some cases that are always very difficult to prove. Fine, I'm not ruling out the fact that we have many of them. But if you, for instance, you want to prove a case of rape, rape has points to prove. If any one of those points is missing, you may lose your case in court. Let us be reasonable. You can't arrest somebody you want to prosecute without having credible evidence against such a person.
Cross-dressing is not a crime yet in Nigeria.
I don't think so, because I've not read anywhere it's an offense per se. But some of them that are into cross-dressing, the allegation is that they are into something else, unnatural offenses. That's where the problem lies. We need to actually have enough proof, credible evidence, to prove that they're actually into that. All those offenses are natural offenses in Nigeria, and they're punishable under our law.
So they must be careful how they
if you explore that it's not a crime in Nigeria, fine, you want to do that, you want to enjoy your liberty. But if you're into something else, that is criminal. Or natural offenses. Many people have been saying that, but let's have enough evidence to nail an individual is that dirty thing. The law will take its course.
All right. Olumuyiwa Adejobi is the PPRO of the Nigerian Police Force. Thank you so much indeed for clarifying. And our heart goes out to some of your colleagues that were gruesomely murdered and their families also tonight. We're hoping that God will help them through this tough period. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks Nigerians too for their support.
So
God bless you all.
Thank you. That's our show for tonight, everyone. I'm Sean Kimale. God bless Nigeria.
Welcome to another episode of Democracy 101 in 5. I am Antoleki. Democracy 101 in 5 is an initiative of Yaga Africa with the support of the FCDO. So let's get straight to business. We've treated a topic covering the immunity clause for the president, vice president, governors, and deputy governors. Now, are legislators immune from persecution? We asked some Nigerians. Here's how they responded.
I believe nothing like arresting them or whatever.
Because no that of the president and the governor, but that of House of Rep, the legislator, I'm not clear.
I don't think they are immune from persecutions.
Interesting responses. Now, here's the premise. Section 308 explicitly states the offices for which occupants are exempt from legal proceedings during their tenure in office. Now, let's pay close attention to subsection 3, which provides more details regarding this clause. Section 308, subsection